watching the tide roll in, sitting by the dock of the bay, watching the tides roll away, sitting by the dock of the bay, wasting time. I got a question for you guys. First of all, when you come in and you see this, hit the like button. Hit the like button for me, please. Hit the like button for me, please. And I want to know some things. It's a beautiful rustling of the trees. Say hello in the chat because I'm talking directly to you today, looking for some feedback. I got Toy Mafia and Ricardo in here. What's up, Ricardo? Yo, Worldwide Weather Authority. Listen, let me ask y'all a question. Where my pen and paper at? When y'all was kids, what scared you the most? When you was a kid, if you had to go talk to, if you had to go hold a conversation with some middle schoolers, what scared you the most? Somebody said Freddy Krueger. What about Freddy Krueger? Was it the fact that Freddy Krueger was in the dreams? Was it the movie that scared you? What was it about Freddy Krueger that scared you? The devil and going to hell. Heights. The dreams. Darkness. What was it about the darkness that scared you when you were scared of the dark? Was it not knowing what's there? Was it hearing things? Was it seeing things? Was it the imagination that scared you? My boy said my mother. My man said my mama scared me. He said I was more scared of my mama than anything in the dark. So we got two categories. We got nightmares and we got darkness. Darkness in the building. Darkness, everybody. Darkness. My dad with his big old leather belt. Yeah, that belt probably saved your life too. I tell people all the time, ass whooping saved my life, and it'll save yours. I said that about my beautiful goddaughter who don't get no spankings and is a terror, a super genius terror. Like, man, y'all gonna have to spank her. Y'all gonna have to put leather to buttocks before she get too old. If she get 13, you're gonna have a problem. Very, very bad news for Bitcoin. I had a Justin thing I said, very bad news for Bitcoin. It's Sherry from Misty's aunt. Okay. Hello, Sherry. The question was, when you were a kid, what scared you? I'm asking this for a very particular reason, because I'm going to be talking to some children. I'll tell you what scared me when I was a kid. I went through a phase where I was scared of the dark, where I didn't want to take the trash out. But at the same time, the neighborhood I lived in, you go throw a rock to the woods where the Rougarou really lived, and there was ample reason to be afraid of the dark. Um, so people was afraid for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said they enjoyed the live stream last night. That was the darkness live stream. Clowns. Clowns are represent the faces of demons, by the way. Nah, deep in that pool. I ain't like the deep end of that pool at all. All right, now, Win. I appreciate you, buddy, but come on, I need you to calm down. Go on, and take a chill pill, buddy, till I get off. You can come back with the madness, okay? Thank you. Um, I'll tell you, it was being afraid of the dog and taking the trash out. It was crazy because all I had to do was go out the front door, make a left, open the gate, and put the trash out. But my house was 2 doors down from a canal. On the other side of that canal, there was really stuff in the woods. It wasn't like it wasn't no stuff in the woods. You know what I'm saying? Storms. Thank you, Patricia. Thunderstorms. There's really some stuff in the woods, man. I don't remember being scared of thunderstorms when I was a kid, though. I remember sleeping through like damn near tornadoes. And I never forget, we was in Mississippi, and it was a bad storm coming through. And I just went in the bedroom and went to sleep. Everybody was huddled up in the house. Everybody was afraid. And they woke me up after it was over. And it was like, boy, what you doing sleep? Man, I went to sleep. I was tired. And it's like they had a whole tornado pass. Went outside and the tornado had ripped up trees and tore up a house and tore up somebody's trailer. It's like this child slept through a tornado. It never crossed my mind that it would hit us. I was at perfect peace. Like that tornado ain't coming over here. Well, that fear of failure is a manufactured fear, but that's something, failure. A lot of kids are afraid of not being good enough or accepted. I think that's what I'm going to have my talk about. Darkness and the fear of being accepted. You know, the fear of being accepted is the one that drives most of the mistakes that people make at a young age. I never forget, I told my sons, before they went into middle school, I said, hey, I said, I'm going to teach you a lesson, son. Just come outside, sit down with me. Yeah, Pops, what's up? I said, you don't have the advantage of time. And he said, what do you mean? I said, you don't have the advantage of age and time. I said, so I'm going to give you an advantage that the rest of your friends won't have. I said, 90% of them people you meet in middle school, you will not know them by the time you graduate from high school. And 90% of the people you know when you graduate from high school, you won't know them by the time you get married. And 90% of the people that you know by the time you've gotten married, well, but probably 50% of the people you know from the time you've gotten married to the time you have kids have been falling out away out of your life. So don't make any permanent decisions based on temporary friendships. And that's the one lesson I would tell anybody if your grandkid or your son or daughter was sitting there listening to me. I would say do not make permanent decisions based on temporary relationships and temporary situations. Don't make no permanent decisions. So for example, you and your partner out and you think this is the coolest dude on the planet. You're like, yeah, bro, we're gonna go in the store, we're gonna rob this place. That is making a temporary decision based on making a permanent decision based upon a temporary relationship. And you can always test that by saying no. You know what I'm saying? You can always test the nature of a relationship by just saying no. I do it all the time. Give somebody what they want, then no. Can't do it no more. You're gonna find the nature of that relationship immediately. The true essence of that relationship is going to be revealed to you in that moment based on that behavior pattern. You know what I'm saying? Point blank, period. So, yeah, that ought to do it. Fear of being not accepted. And by the way, to the person who was talking about the fear of failure, nobody really told you what failure actually is. Failure is the greatest form of feedback you will ever have in your life. It is. I mean, when I look at people like Michael Jordan, right? You see, I love the Michael Jordan style of basketball. I like this mentality. I like everything about Michael Jordan. I don't like the fact that he sacrificed his dad, but nonetheless, men make their own decisions and they got to deal with them. But when you look at a person like Michael Jordan, people see him going up court, slam dunking, putting his tongue out, boom, doing what he do. But you don't get to see the failure that he went through. The failure that he went through was in the gym, missing shot after shot after shot after shot after shot, perfecting his game. All that was failure. When you weigh it on the scale, if I was supposed to shoot 100 shots and make 50 out of 100, and I made 49, I failed at my goal. So, fear of failure is just not truly understanding what failure is. It's nothing more than feedback, and nobody classified it to you as feedback. Once it's classified in your mind as feedback, then there's no such thing as failure. It's, I figured out a way not to do it. You understand what I'm saying? That's all it boils down to. So there can be no such thing as failure as long as you keep on going. The failure is when you quit. I never forget, there's one thing that I quit in my life. And I never forget the moment I quit it. And I vowed that I would never do it again. And I never quit anything. I've walked away from things. You know what I'm saying? Never quit anything. There's a difference between quitting and walking away. I walked away from things because there wasn't a level of appreciation there. And so I would walk away. But the one thing I quitted, it was 1:30 football. Park football, Goretti Park. I was younger, but I weighed more. And so they moved me up to 1:30. And I think I had to be like, I don't know, 10 years old. The guys were 13, 14 years old. I may have been 10 going on 11. They were 13, 14. And they did the bull ring, which they don't do that anymore. But they put you in the center of the bull ring. And it's like maybe 10 kids. And in the middle of that bull ring, you have to like lay down on your stomach, jump up, and like run in place. And then you have to turn and find the person who's coming at you. It's like you're doing a burpee, but as soon as you get through doing your burpee, someone's coming. And so, the bull ring, I think it had to be about 12 people. I got to number 10. And when I got to number 10, it felt like my forearm was broken. In fact, later on, it turned out that I had a hairline fracture in my forearm. But I got to number 10 because at some point in time, you get so dizzy because they get a full steam ahead running at you. They got like 15 yards, 10 to 15 yards to get up speed, but you don't have the opportunity to get the speed. And so when you get up, when you locate the person, by the time you locate them, you got about 2 or 3 steps to get in their direction. And once you get in their direction, you can meet their force, but they're coming with so much more force because force is mass times acceleration, and they've been accelerated and you're not accelerated. So the only way to actually meet them was to quickly accelerate, but you couldn't, right? Well, get to the 10th person, I feel the knot in my forearm. Like you literally feel the knot that's risen up on your forearm. It's like that, right? And it's on my right arm, which my right side is my strongest side. And so I'm using that right forearm to, when I dip my shoulder, to issue a blow back. So I'm dropping my head, dropping my shoulder, but I'm issuing an elbow, boom, to every person. Like you're going to take something with you. And I get to the 10th person, and wham, dude, waylays me. I'm talking about you go vertical, and you end up going like this, psh, bam. And I'm laying there. And I remember, I'll never forget, I started crying. And it's like, come on, bro, get up, bro, get up, bro, get up. Get up, man, get up. And then that pain shoots up my forearm and hits my elbow. And you know how when you bump your funny bone, Well, it felt like that funny bone pain, but it didn't go away. And I mean, it's throbbing and throbbing and throbbing. And so I get up and I start to walk off. And the coach is like, if you leave right now, Williams, you're an effing quitter. And I turned, I said, man, F you, I quit. I never forget. You got all these parents watching. I go get in the car. My dad didn't come out there to see. He had just pulled up. And he's like, what happened? I said, man, I quit that. He was like, what? I said, man, I quit that. That hurt too much. He's like, well, son, you can't quit. I was like, nah, bro. I'm hurt. He was like, well, son, I ain't never known you to quit nothing. Man, I'm hurt. And he didn't believe me until we got home and he saw this giant lump on my forearm. He was like, what the hell is that? I said, I told you I was hurt. Um, I would have made the team if I would have just took two more vicious blows like that. But I just didn't have it in me. You know what I'm saying? Nonetheless, the following year, I go and I play with kids my age and go all-star. You know what I'm saying? So, and then from there, captain of the football team, all district linebacker, and it was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But I took it as, in that moment, I took it as failure as a kid. But then I just forgot about that failure or that quitting. But that would be a failure. And so many people in life, they take failure, like I didn't accomplish my goal, as it's a permanent thing. It's not permanent. You know what I'm saying? You can always go back and recapture a dream. You know what I'm saying? You can go back and rekindle a dream as long as it's worth you going back to. Anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about. So, not being readily accepted, failure. It's not permanent. And I think the most important lesson that I'm going to talk to them about is, and it really is an important lesson, permanent decisions in temporary situations. It really is. Because I've seen so many young, thank you, Denise. I've seen so many young people who they look at a temporary situation that they find themselves in, and they're depressed based upon that situation. So, for example, you're in a situation in high school where people don't like you because nobody told you how to find your tribe of people who are like-minded like you. And so you're willing to kill yourself or commit suicide over the opinion of somebody that you will not know 5 years from now. You will not ever see them again. And so those are the permanent decisions that are made. And I think I need to address that. We definitely need to address that. Yeah. That's one of them good old fashioned black helicopters right there, boy. Good old fashioned black helicopters. And I like seeing them every time you do a live stream. I went through a phase where I started telling some stories, and yeah, there was a bunch of black ass helicopters flying around. You know what I'm saying? It was wild. All right. So, anything else you guys can think about from when you were a youngster? In your teen years, early teens, that, and I feel like the permanent decisions based on temporary situations, it also deals with relationships too. You know what I'm saying? Think about how many people had their first love and had their first heartbreak and they thought it was the end of the world. I know quite a few people who made bad decisions based upon their first heartbreak, or people who made bad decisions because a family member died or a close friend passed away. In that case, it's a permanent situation. and you don't need to be making permanent solutions based upon being in that permanent situation for them. But even in that, the emotions that you feel are temporary. You know what I'm saying? Denise said Satan grabbed up with rock and roll. Baby, Satan grabbed people, a lot of people with music. You know what I'm saying? Grab a lot of people with that old fashioned music. Grab whole generations of people with rap music and destroy them. That's completely understandable. Completely understandable. The most important thing is that the lessons that you learn, you find a way to pass those lessons on to people so they won't find themselves in those same situations. You know what I'm saying? That's the most important thing. All right. So let me rewrite this. Got it. All right. Yeah, I think that's gonna get it. That'll give me stories to tap into that I can share. I'll tell you one of the best things and one of the things I love to do is the involvement in a few nonprofits that I'm involved in. It's an exciting thing. It gives me opportunity to give back. I'll never forget the first time I went into a classroom and told everybody to take out their cell phone, and a teacher looked at me like I was crazy. I said, "Everybody take out your cell phone." And the teacher's like, "Wait, what?" I said, "Everybody take out your cell phone." And I said, "Put them on the desk." I said, "How many of y'all got iPhones?" All these kids had iPhones. How many of y'all got Androids? People had Androids. People made fun of them. I said, "How many of y'all make money off your phone?" One kid raised his hand. And I asked him what he did. And he was like, he makes videos on, wasn't TikTok, it was Snapchat. And everybody looked at him like he was crazy. And I don't think anybody knew that this little kid was making money on Snapchat. And I said, "Well, man, how much money are you making on Snapchat?" He's like, "Oh, I make probably about $400 or $500 a month." I said, "Congratulations." And I told him all, I said, "The phone that you have in your hand is a weapon." I said, they call it smart technology because it's a weapon. I said, it can be used against you or you can use the weapon for you. You know what I'm saying? And what was amazing, all them children, and I call them children because I'm older, every last one of them children, every last one of them children had the eyes open to understand that taking your cell phone and recording a fight or recording some drama is stupid. When I started explaining to them the ramifications of it, the laws against it, they was like, "Oh crap." So, but more importantly, you have an opportunity where you live in a time period where there's no one that can stop you from prospering. There's nothing that can stop you from prospering. The only thing that stops you is you and what you give your attention to. You know what I'm saying? Of course, two of those kids went on to be pretty decent sized YouTubers, which is awesome. Just super duper awesome that they went to be decent sized YouTubers and making them some money. It's just that people need guidance at that young age. When you do not want to cooperate today, are you trying to blow a storm or what are you doing?